4 the worst frozen foods you must eat every day, and 4 you should never touch. They claimed that frozen food was safe, convenient, and even nutritious. What if, however, the truth is considerably more harmful than anyone is willing to acknowledge? Millions of seniors are currently consuming foods that are causing internal heart damage without even realizing it, and from a freezer area, not from takeaway or fast food. Your kitchen table is only a few feet away from the silent danger. These frozen foods are consumed weekly by more than 100 million senior citizens. However, the majority are unaware that they are causing inflammation, hardening arteries, and gradually increasing blood pressure, all of which directly contribute to heart attacks, strokes, and even heart failure. Even worse, 90% of seniors are unaware that they are engaging in this behavior. They never guess that the frozen meal is the cause of their dizziness, fatigue, fogginess, swollen legs, and altered heartbeat. The 4 frozen foods that seniors should avoid touching, and the 4 that you need to eat every day to keep your heart healthy and live a long, healthy life into your 70s and 80s are revealed in this video to help you know exactly what to eat and what to avoid. They are categorized from least to most harmful and from least to most healing. Stay put, because the top frozen item on this list isn't just deceptive. It can raise an older adult's risk of stroke by up to 78%. Yet hardly anyone is discussing it. Real clinical studies, peer-reviewed research, and human trials support each and every assertion made in this movie. The science has been simplified, but if you want to read it yourself, links to all the sources are provided in the description below. Let's begin with number 4 right away. It's the first frozen meal that your heart is subtly pleading with you to quit eating. 4th, frozen fillets with breaded fish. Frozen fish seems healthy, doesn't it? However, it's not simply unhealthy when it's fried, breaded, and frozen. It turns into a cardiovascular bomb that is just ready to go off in your blood. The majority of seniors seek out breaded fish patties, fillets, or sticks in hopes of obtaining omega-3 fatty acids and protein. However, the truth is far more sinister. These frozen fillets typically contain hydrogenated oils, excessive sodium, and refined wheat flour in their breading. Even in little doses, certain foods raise the risk of heart disease by 23%. Combine that with the high salt level, sometimes more than 500 milligrams per serving, and you have the recipe for high blood pressure, vascular stiffness, and water retention, without even including the most harmful cardiac triggers for adults over 60. However, the threat doesn't end there. These fish fillets are subjected to advanced glycation end products during industrial frying and freezing. These harmful substances speed up vascular aging, harm cells, and interfere with insulin communication. High levels of advanced glycation end products were linked to twice the risk of atrial fibrillation, a heart rhythm condition that affects almost 1 in 3 adults over 65, according to a study published in Circulation Research. What about the actual fish? The majority of frozen breaded fish products employ inexpensive, low-quality white fish, such as basso or pollock, that have lost nutrients and are frequently soaked in phosphates to maintain texture, particularly in elderly people who already have heart or kidney problems. These chemicals have been connected to increased kidney strain and calcium imbalance, which can harden arteries and raise the risk of stroke. After eating frozen breaded fish, if your ankles swell the next morning or your heart feels fluttery, it's not your imagination. Your body is responding to an excess of toxins. Avoid the box completely and choose fresh or frozen wild-caught fish that hasn't been breaded. Then bake or steam it with lemon, garlic, and olive oil. In fact, that combination promotes endothelial function and reduces inflammation, which is essential for healthy circulation after age 60. The next frozen item may appear harmless on the outside, but it contains enough sodium to raise your blood pressure, inflammatory oils, and imitation cheese. 3rd, pizzas that are frozen. They're inexpensive. They're simple. Additionally, they are now the preferred frozen meal for millions of senior citizens. However, one of the worst things a senior can consume is frozen pizza. Beyond the melted cheese and crispy crust lies a maze of cardiovascular hazards that become more severe around the age of 60. First, the sodium. More than 1,200 milligrams of sodium are frequently found in one person-sized frozen pizza in one sitting. That's almost your whole daily allowance. Because the kidney's ability to filter sodium decreases with age, seniors are particularly susceptible to sodium overload. This leads to water retention, swelling, and increased pressure on arteries and blood vessels. And the crust? It's typically made with refined white flour, offering little to no fiber. This leads to rapid spikes in blood sugar, insulin resistance, and over time, weight gain, all of which contribute to conditions that make heart attacks more likely. The cheese on frozen pizzas isn't always real cheese either. Many contain cheese substitutes made from processed oils and preservatives. These fake cheeses not only lack the calcium and nutrients found in real dairy, but are also full of trans fats, which are known to harden arteries and increase bad cholesterol. If you're feeling groggy or bloated the morning after eating one, that's not coincidence. Your body is struggling to flush out the excess salt, artificial additives, and saturated fats. And it gets even more complicated with the additives used to preserve shelf life. Many frozen pizzas include nitrates, phosphates, and preservatives like BHA and BHD, which have been linked to inflammation and oxidative stress. Oxidative stress accelerates aging and weakens the heart muscle. Eating these kinds of products a few times per week may not feel dangerous at first, but over time the risk compounds. The damage builds quietly and slowly until the symptoms start showing. And by then, many seniors already find themselves diagnosed with hypertension or experiencing irregular heart rhythms. It's not just a frozen pizza. It's a trap disguised as convenience. Unfortunately, when the habit becomes weekly or even daily, the risks multiply. Many older adults report feeling tired, foggy, and bloated, and they assume it's just a natural part of aging. But in reality, these symptoms often correlate with elevated sodium, inflammation markers, and poor endothelial function, all of which are aggravated by a typical frozen pizza. Avoiding it might be one of the simplest but most powerful things a person over 60 can do for their heart. As a result, the blood retains more salt, which draws in water, increasing volume and elevating blood pressure. Seniors who consume a lot of sodium in their diet are 72% more likely to develop left ventricular hypertrophy, which can result in heart failure, according to a study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. This condition causes the muscular wall of the heart's left ventricle to thicken, making it harder for the heart to pump blood efficiently. Over time, this can lead to shortness of breath, fatigue, and eventual heart failure. What makes this even more alarming is that it can develop silently, without any clear symptoms, until the damage is advanced and much more difficult to manage. The crust, however, may be worse. Typically, bleached refined wheat flour that has been totally depleted of fiber and minerals is used to make it. Researchers now associate this type of fast-burning carbohydrate with increased arterial stiffness and plaque accumulation because it generates blood sugar spikes, insulin surges, and ultimately glycemic unpredictability. This is particularly dangerous for individuals over 60 whose metabolic flexibility declines with age. What starts as a minor elevation in blood sugar after eating quickly becomes a pattern of metabolic stress that can trigger a cascade of inflammatory responses. Over time, these repeated spikes damage the vascular system, leading to what cardiologists now refer to as silent heart attacks, episodes of reduced blood flow that don't present obvious symptoms but cause real, cumulative damage to the heart muscle. Then there's the imitation cheese. The processed cheese alternatives used in the majority of frozen pizzas are loaded with emulsifiers, vegetable oils, and sodium phosphate, which keeps the pizza gooey but throws off your body's calcium balance. Seniors are especially at risk from phosphate excess. It hardens arteries and removes calcium from bones. Excess phosphate in older persons actually quadruple the risk of arterial calcification and raise cardiac mortality by 38%. According to a 2017 study published in Kidney International. And it's not just about arteries. When phosphate levels become too high, kidney function begins to deteriorate more rapidly, which in turn raises blood pressure further and causes fluid retention. This can lead to swelling in the legs, shortness of breath, and in more serious cases, congestive heart failure. Still not persuaded? Nitrates, preservative and hydrogenated fats, are also included in a lot of frozen pizzas, particularly in the meat toppings. These chemicals have been connected to simultaneous increases in blood pressure, cholesterol, and cognitive impairment by causing oxidative stress in the heart and brain. The effects are not just internal. If you ever felt bloated, lightheaded, or exhausted after eating frozen pizza, your body's giving you a clear signal. This isn't food. It's a complex mixture of synthetic additives, stripped-down carbohydrates, and inflammatory fats that work together to strain your circulatory system. Frozen pizza is often seen as a comfort food, but it quietly undermines health in older adults who are already more vulnerable to cardiovascular changes. Make your own mini pizza with whole grain flatbread, fresh tomato paste, real mozzarella, and heart-healthy toppings like spinach and olive oil for a healthier option. In addition to being 10 times safer and equally quick, it promotes blood flow rather than obstructs it. However, since it's found in practically every freezer and is the most cunning blood sugar catastrophe of all, we must now discuss the following frozen item. Second place, packs of frozen fruit smoothies. Most likely, you've seen them, pre-cut fruit mixtures that are frozen, wrapped in plastic bags, and marketed as immune-stimulating or antioxidant-rich. However, these frozen smoothie packs can be more detrimental than beneficial if you're over 60. Here's why. The majority of these smoothie packs contain high glycemic fruits, such as pineapple, bananas, and mangoes, frequently in concentrated amounts that cause a rapid rise in blood sugar. The natural sugar load from these combinations can override your insulin response, even if the label says there is no added sugar. This is misleading, because the volume of fructose and glucose present can easily spike blood sugar levels, especially in seniors with decreased insulin sensitivity. Additionally, this causes severe blood sugar swings in older adults with delayed glucose metabolism or early insulin resistance. Even if they did not have diabetes, seniors with high post-meal blood sugar had a 48% increased risk of cardiovascular events, according to a 2020 study in diabetes and vascular disease research. However, that is only the beginning. Many of these frozen fruits lose their vitamin C and polyphenol content over time because they are frequently flash frozen and kept for months. In other words, you're receiving a lot more sugar, but a lot less antioxidants than you may realize. And the sugar impacts more forcefully without those protective chemicals. It accelerates the process of arterial stiffening, destroys the endothelium, the lining of your arteries, and increases oxidative stress in your blood vessels. To make matters worse, a lot of seniors mix these packs with fruit juice or almond milk that has been sweetened, which increases the glycemic load. A nutritious meal devolves into a blood sugar roller coaster that causes long-term vascular damage, energy slumps, and mental fog. After 20 minutes of feeling wonderful, you can feel exhausted, lightheaded, or intellectually lethargic and never feel like you're connected to your smoothie. Additionally, some packets contain superfood powders like goji or acai, which are dried extracts with few remaining active nutrients, as well as other sneaky additives like guar gum and citric acid, which can cause minor inflammation and irritate the gut lining, particularly in elderly persons with sensitive digestion. These may be subtly increasing inflammation, raising insulin, and impairing circulation if you're consuming them in the mistaken belief that they're good for your heart. A better option is to use low glycemic fruits, such as frozen blackberries or blueberries, to make your own smoothie. Add a tablespoon of flaxseed, a handful of spinach, and a scoop of unsweetened protein powder. In addition to delivering fiber and supporting blood sugar homeostasis, this feeds your heart rather than your blood pressure. The worst frozen meal that seniors should avoid touching is the one that has been connected to heart failure, stroke, and even sudden cardiac death. First place, microwavable breakfast sandwiches that are frozen. They appear practical. They seem innocuous. Frozen breakfast sandwiches, however, pose a threefold threat to cardiovascular health in older adults. They are among the supermarket's most processed, chemical-laden frozen meals, and each bite packs a sneaky punch of saturated fat, salt, and artificial additives. Let's dissect it. The salt content of a typical frozen breakfast sandwich ranges from 800 to 1,300 milligrams before 9 a.m. That is frequently more than 50% of your daily allowance. Additionally, that type of salt overload is not effectively filtered out in elderly people with age-related renal alterations. Rather, it remains in the blood, causing its volume and pressure to increase. Adults over 60 who consume more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day were 71% more likely to develop left-sided heart failure, according to a 2022 analysis published in the Journal of Hypertension. With the kidneys under more strain due to aging, they struggle to keep up with the extra sodium, leading to fluid retention, increased blood volume, and sustained pressure on blood vessels. This silent pressure contributes to gradual weakening and thickening of the heart's left ventricle, a condition that, over time, reduces a heart's ability to pump efficiently and ultimately leads to fatigue, breathlessness, and eventually full-blown heart failure. However, things worsen. Preserved meats like bacon and sausage, which are high in nitrates and nitrites and cause oxidative stress, are piled on top of these sandwiches. The body converts nitrates into nitrosamines, which are substances that harm blood vessels, hinder the synthesis of nitric oxide, and cause the artery walls to harden. As arteries lose their elasticity, blood flow becomes restricted. Your heart must work harder with each beat after that flexibility is gone. This process doesn't just lead to elevated blood pressure, but also significantly raises the risk of stroke and long-term vascular damage. The egg. Frequently, it isn't even real. The majority include a liquid egg mixture consisting of anti-caking agents, emulsifiers, additives, and powdered egg product. These artificial egg blends are engineered for shelf life, not nutrition. High-temperature cooking, freezing, and reheating of these artificial substances results in advanced glycation end products, which worsen blood vessel inflammation and set off a harmful immunological reaction. Circulation reports that atherosclerosis, arrhythmias, and cognitive loss are all directly associated with higher advanced glycation end products in older persons. These toxic compounds accumulate in the blood, increasing the burden on the heart and accelerating the breakdown of tissue flexibility and repair capacity. A contributing factor in these sandwiches is even the biscuit or muffin that is utilized. They have virtually no fiber and are made from bleached white flour and commercial seed oils. These refined carbs are digested quickly, causing rapid blood sugar elevation, insulin surges, and metabolic crashes. This results in a quick spike in blood sugar that can cause morning weariness, lightheadedness, and even blurred vision. It's not only aging if you've ever felt exhausted or dizzy after eating one of these sandwiches. It is a warning indication for metabolism. The metabolic roller coaster is not natural, nor is it sustainable, and it creates a dangerous feedback loop that makes seniors more prone to fatigue, poor circulation, and reduced cognitive function. Breakfast sandwiches that are frozen are not breakfast. They resemble a plastic wrap heart attack. Additionally, consuming these on a regular basis may be silently increasing the risk of stroke, weakening arteries, and causing blood pressure rises in seniors over 60 who don't exhibit any warning signs. The worst part is that many seniors eat these out of habit or convenience, assuming they're getting a hearty, energy-packed meal. But what they're actually doing is starting the day with a toxic cocktail of artery-damaging ingredients that hijack their metabolism and set the tone for inflammation and oxidative stress that lingers well into the day. After exposing the 4 worst frozen foods, let's take a different approach. Because frozen foods aren't always nasty. Indeed, if you're over 60, some can help repair cellular damage, enhance circulation, and protect your arteries. For frozen spinach. Although it may not be particularly exciting, frozen spinach is a nutrient-dense food that can shield aging arteries more effectively than nearly any other vegetable. When spinach is frozen at its ripest, it retains a lot of nitrates, which the body uses to make nitric oxide, a substance that relaxes blood vessels and increases blood flow. That isn't a theory. According to a research in clinical nutrition, persons over 60 who ate only 1 serving of spinach per day saw a substantial 11-point drop in systolic blood pressure in just 1 week. That has no negative effects and is more potent than some drugs. Additionally, adding frozen spinach to soups, omelets, or stews is a breeze because it has already been blanched and diced. No preparation is necessary. Additionally, it is abundant in free minerals like magnesium, potassium, and folate, all which are frequently lacking in older persons. Magnesium helps maintain regular heartbeats. Excess sodium is flushed out by potassium. Homocysteine, an amino acid associated with arterial plaque in the elderly, is decreased by folate. These nutrients work together to keep arteries flexible, reduce stress on the heart, and support normal blood flow. Your body may be begging for nitric oxide if you experience symptoms like lightheadedness, cold hands and feet, or elevated blood pressure even after eating a healthy diet. One of the quickest ways to include spinach is with frozen spinach. Try mixing it into frozen berry smoothies or sautéing it with garlic and olive oil. Your heart will appreciate it if you don't cut or waste. A silent warrior is the next frozen food. It fortifies the structure of your heart from the inside out and restores collagen in your arteries. Third, shelled soybeans, frozen edamame. While it may not be in every senior's freezer, frozen edamame should be. One of the most comprehensive plant-based proteins on the market, these green soybeans have special ingredients that help improve your cholesterol, heart muscle, and arteries. The greatest advantage is isoflavones. These are organic plant substances that replicate the blood vessel protective effect of estrogen. Lower estrogen levels in older adults raise blood pressure and arterial stiffness, particularly in postmenopausal women. Diets rich in soy isoflavones decrease systolic blood pressure by an average of 5.9 millimeters of mercury in adults over 60. According to a 2021 meta-analysis published in the Journal of Clinical Hypertension, this is a measurable and clinically significant drop that reduces strain on the heart and lowers the risk of long-term cardiovascular damage. Edamame, however, goes even farther. It contains vitamin K2, which aids in moving calcium out of your arteries and back into your bones, where it belongs. This vitamin is rarely talked about, yet it plays an essential role in preventing calcification, a silent contributor to stiff arteries, plaque formation, and eventual heart attacks in aging adults. In addition to K2, edamame is rich in arginine, an amino acid that aids in production of nitric oxide, the same natural compound found in spinach that relaxes arteries and increases circulation. This means better blood flow, reduced vascular tension, and a lower chance of blood pressure spikes that are especially dangerous in seniors. This dual effect, removing calcium from arteries and relaxing vessel walls, makes edamame a rare and valuable ally in any heart-conscious diet. Better yet, edamame has a high fiber content, very little salt, and no cholesterol. All of these features promote improved digestion, blood sugar regulation, and a healthier gut flora. There is seriousness to that gut-heart connection. Scientists now understand that the gut microbiome plays a direct role in systemic inflammation. When gut bacteria are out of balance, toxins can leak into the bloodstream, triggering immune reactions that make arteries inflamed and sticky. Two characteristics that promote plaque buildup, increased inflammation, and the development of arterial plaque, can result from a disturbed microbiota. That's why foods like edamame don't just help the heart, they support whole body health. Using frozen edamame is also quite simple. Simply steam it for 5 minutes, then sprinkle with sea salt and a little olive oil. It can be eaten on its own as a snack or added to soups and salads. It's filling, high in protein, and perfect for seniors who want to keep their muscles while keeping their hearts healthy. With sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle, becoming a real threat after 60, high-protein, unprocessed foods like edamame help preserve strength and mobility without adding strain to the heart. The amino acid profile supports lean mass while the fiber slows digestion and supports stable blood sugar. Edamame is one of the very few frozen foods that offers this kind of whole-body benefit in a single serving. The next meal performs an even more uncommon action. It simultaneously lowers cholesterol, nourishes the intestines, and aids in artery healing. Second, mix berries that are frozen, particularly blackberries and blueberries. Mixed berries that are frozen are more than just a tasty treat. They are among the most potent cardiovascular allies that an elderly person can have on hand, particularly if you concentrate on low-sugar types like raspberries, blackberries, and blueberries. Each serving of these berries has a surprisingly potent anti-inflammatory, cholesterol-lowering, and blood vessel protective action. Why are they so strong? Anthocyanins. In addition to giving berries their deep, rich color, these dark plant pigments actually reduce blood vessel inflammation. In persons over 60, daily berry consumption decreased arterial stiffness by more than 9% and LDL cholesterol levels by 11%, according to a study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. But that's not all. Berries enhance endothelial function, which regulates the expansion and contraction of your blood vessels. Poor endothelial function is one of the first signs of cardiac disease, and is entirely silent. There are no symptoms until a crisis hits. However, a study published in Circulation found that within just 8 weeks, seniors who had frozen berries on a daily basis experienced a significant decrease in oxidative stress indicators, blood pressure, and improved blood flow. Additionally, they promote insulin sensitivity, which is especially important for elderly people with metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance, or prediabetes. These berries are rich in soluble fiber and have a low glycemic index, in contrast to high-sugar smoothie fruits like pineapple or mango. This fiber slows the absorption of sugar and supports gut microbes that lower systemic inflammation, which is a major cause of plaque accumulation and the risk of stroke. Berries are also one of the few foods that directly improve both brain and vascular health, helping with memory, focus, and circulation all at once. The best part is that frozen berries have the same nutritional value as fresh ones. In actuality, they are frequently frozen within hours of harvest, which reserves more nutrients than fresh fruit that has been stored for days or transported long distances. Simply take a handful out of the freezer, thaw up a little, and then mix it with protein shakes, yogurt, or oatmeal. You can also eat them straight as a cooling snack. If you've been experiencing brain fog upon waking, cholesterol issues, or a decrease in your energy levels, you might not require additional vitamins or supplements. Perhaps all you need is a spoonful of berries. We've now arrived at the last one, the best frozen meal that any senior should consume on a daily basis. This is because it does more than just support the heart. It also aids in blood vessel reconstruction, illness prevention, and even the reversal of early vascular damage indicators. First place, air-fried or oven-baked frozen unbreaded chicken wings. Yes, chicken wings. Not just any wings, though. One of the greatest everyday frozen foods for seniors over 60 is frozen unbreaded chicken wings, provided they are prepared properly. Why? Because they are free of the sugar, preservatives, and inflammatory seed oils present in processed frozen meals. They are whole, real foods with high protein, low carbohydrates, and essential minerals that aging bodies crave. They're also full of heart protective nutrients, high quality protein, and collagen that strengthens bones and supports blood vessels. The science is here. Sarcopenia is a term for the rapid loss of muscle mass in seniors over 60, which can occur at a rate of up to 8% every decade. It slows your metabolism, weakens your legs, and strains your heart. Complete amino acids that aid in the preservation and repair heart and muscular tissue can be found in plenty in frozen chicken wings, particularly when they are air-fried or baked without breading. The natural fats in chicken skin, when not fried in vegetable oil, are not harmful. In fact, they help absorb fat-soluble vitamins and reduce hunger by stabilizing hormones. With regular use, these wings can help preserve lean body mass, improve immune function, and contribute to stronger bones and healthier arteries. They provide a satisfying meal without the dangerous additives or excessive sodium found in processed alternatives. If seasoned simply and cooked without added oils, frozen chicken wings are one of the few frozen meats that deliver both taste and real health benefits for older adults aiming to live stronger, longer, and with better cardiovascular function. A 2022 study published in Nutrients found that seniors who consume more protein, especially from poultry, had a 41% decreased risk of cardiovascular events over 5 years. Wings, in particular, offer natural collagen and connective tissue that promote joint health and vascular flexibility. They are richer in skin and bone than chicken breasts, providing essential type 1 and type 3 collagen. These forms of collagen are vital for maintaining strong artery walls, which reduce stroke risk and help stabilize blood pressure. Wings are also naturally high in zinc, selenium, and vitamin B6, nutrients that support nerve communication, cholesterol metabolism, and immune function. Unlike processed frozen meals, plain frozen wings can be a clean, low-carb, high-protein option for seniors, without spiking blood sugar or insulin levels. Preparation is key. Avoid breaded or battered wings. Choose plain frozen wings, season with anti-inflammatory spices like turmeric, garlic, or rosemary, and bake or air-fry them without added oils. When cooked this way, wings become a nutrient-dense, satisfying food that support metabolism, heart health, and muscle strength. They only become junk food when deep-fried in seed oils and loaded with sodium. Most people have been misled into thinking all frozen foods are unhealthy, but it's really about what's in them and how they're cooked. Choosing wisely can turn your freezer into a tool for better health. Swap out harmful options like breaded fish or sugary smoothie packs for nourishing alternatives like leafy greens, edamame, berries, and quality frozen poultry. These swaps help improve circulation, muscle strength, cognitive clarity, and energy levels. Every choice matters after age 60. Your next meal could support your heart or stress it further.